I think I've been ignoring the fact that Pokémon has been taking over the world for almost 25 years now. I knew it was a smash hit when I was younger, but after the anime kind of drifted out of my conscious and the movie stopped being publicized, I thought it became lost to the ages. Then I heard the show is still going on to this day. Pokemon Go became a phenomenon, Detective Pikachu was released in theaters. Okay, never mind. Pokemon is still the biggest thing to happen since the Beatles, and here's the part where we petition for the creators to release a creature named Ringo. Anyways, I had never seen any of the animated movies before since I was never a fan of it when I was younger. I thought the whole idea was stupid, and I didn't really have the patience for RPGs. Thankfully, I grew up, but I never got to the anime or card game. I remember in elementary when one of the very Christian boys convinced all the other kids to tear up their Pokemon card collection, saying it was the devil's work and it'd send them all to hell. Not that this has to do with anything, but I always find that story funny. Movie Johnson asked me to review Pokemon, the first movie. This has an interesting history that would be difficult for me to tackle in a simple Patreon request video, but basically, just like the TV show, it was produced in Japan for Japanese audiences. It was brought over to America by 4Kids Entertainment, dubbed in English, and re-edited. There's a version with a short film at the beginning involving Pikachu and his friends, there's a prologue about the origins of Mew, and then there's the feature-length movie, alternatively titled Mewtwo Strikes Back, which is kind of a weird title. It's not like we really see the strike of the opposing side, so who is he striking back exactly? This movie has been generally negatively received, and it's not really hard to understand why. Besides the fun animation, it's a pretty boring story that basically is made to be an extended TV episode. It has a simple message about fighting being bad, even though they hardly dig into that aspect. It also seems pretty ironic, given that Pokemon is all about battles. Even Detective Pikachu, for not having a good defining theme, it at least managed to give some kind of message about the world's debate over using Pokemon as fighters. The characters don't really offer me much to talk about. I'm not surprised that there's nothing interesting with them, since it was based on a TV show meant to promote products. And who knows, maybe the Japanese dub is way better and the English version didn't really do it justice. That seems to be the case given the opposing reviews of both the Japanese and American versions. It's really too bad actually, because if you read about the creators' intent when making this movie, they wanted to elaborate on themes of existentialism and the ethics of cloning or genetic modification. I guess the American version just wanted to be about fighting and how it is bad, especially if it's against someone who looks exactly like yourself. I can't help but nitpick some of these moments, but since there doesn't seem to be any overarching theme, I just become bored and that's the stuff I focus on. Why is there a narrator only at the beginning of the movie? He doesn't show up again. Why did Team Rocket dress as Vikings to sneak over onto the island? How did the Pokemon have the power to bring Ash back to life? Is that a thing in the TV show or video games? I've never seen it. Why does Mewtwo remove the main character's memories so they can effectively forget the very message we spent the runtime learning about? This movie is especially weird because I watched the Blu-ray version, which has no special features and it doesn't contain the Mew prologue, so if you don't know anything about this show, or about Mew especially, you're just gonna be really confused. The second half is just a long, drawn-out battle sequence. It's nothing too interesting to look at. It's a character fighting against a mirrored version of themselves. I understand the concept and that they're meant to be clones, but I think it'd be so much better if there were new, unique designs. I understand that it's a lot of work for animators, but the finished product makes the whole ordeal more boring. It's just unfortunate. Obviously, the creators don't oversee the English dub, so everything that is being attempted in the original version can get lost in translation. I'd like to see a subtitled version of the original cut, but I do question how much that could possibly change the outcome. I guess it depends, were there major re-edits and cut scenes, or was it just a straight up dub? Because despite the simplicity, it does feel like an unnatural mess. I've even heard that a remake is coming out this year, which will be computer animated, so hopefully they'll get things right the second time around. I do feel that the idea of making a clone of the most powerful Pokemon to ever exist should be more interesting than what we got.